Going good. How you doing?
Good. I wanted to ask you about Le'Veon Bell and what you knew about him before he joined the Chiefs. And for a long time, it was him and Antonio Brown for the Steelers. That was the offense. Did you ever think you'd be playing in a Super Bowl where Le'Veon and Antonio Brown aren't playing on the same offense, but they're playing against each other?
No, ma'am. Never, never was a thought. Just to think. I mean, I was thinking the other day, and I was messing with Le'Veon the other day about the fact that he got handoffs from Michael Vick, and so we were laughing about that. And it's just the whole, just the whole year, just thinking like, man, all of the knowledge and the small things that I picked up from Le'Veon, just with his years in the league. It's been pretty special having him in the room.
Next up, we'll go to Mick Schaefer with KSHB.
Hey there, Clyde. 15-0, undefeated national champs last year in college, and now here you are on the doorstep of the Super Bowl. Have you allowed yourself to think about just all the winning you've been able to go through these last couple of years, and how do they compare these two runs in college and pro, getting to the ultimate point?
Well, I really haven't had time to really sit and think about it. Everybody's been kind of reminding me of it. So, I try to, I'm not going to necessarily say I try to keep away from it and not think about it. I just try to think about the next game. And I've just been fortunate enough week in and week out for most of those weekends to end in W. So it's been pretty special for me. And also just with the two teams, I feel like it's more similarities than differences between the teams. With me playing on both of them, just the main thing is just the chemistry and just everybody's will to win, and just everybody's just knowing, if I do my 111th while I'm on the field, ultimately good things come from it. So mostly it's just been nothing but positivity and strong, connections between the two teams.
Next, we'll go to Eric Wilson with WKII 1070 AM.
Clyde, appreciate your time. I just wanted to ask you, as a rookie, man, who are some of the guys you've leaned on to get you mentally and physically prepared for this week's game?
Just mainly, I wouldn't even say just this week. Just throughout the years, it's been different vets, just depending on the way I've been, not necessarily feeling, but just kind of like who came towards me, or just kind of that week who I was reaching out to, but mostly it's mainly on the offensive side of the ball. So Darrell Williams has been big for me, as far as guy that I've been leaning on pre-game, and just it's been the whole year that way, just asking him different things, just about what we do week to week. And Darrell is so headsy on a lot of the things that we run. And he's always been a smart guy when it comes to offense. It's been the same way since LSU. So, and if it wasn't Darrell, it was either Trav or Pat on the offensive side of the ball. And then, last but not least, Tyron is always just that guy who's always in my ear, no matter the situation. His locker is actually right across from mine in the locker room, so he tends to give me heads up on a lot of things, or just always encouraging me, or just leading me in the right direction when it comes to me having questions, or just if he sees a little frustration, just in my mannerisms or just on my face. So for the most part, I have nothing but leaders around me, but the guys that I tend to reach out to always help me in a positive way.
Next up will be Matt Tanner from Sky Sports NFL.
Hey, Clyde. There are so many offensive weapons on both teams, but I wanted to ask about your counterpart, Leonard Fournette. Can you just talk about his turnaround this season, and particularly the playoffs, and what attributes he has as a running back that makes him so difficult to handle?
With Leonard, I mean, he's been a guy that I've watched. Just growing up, man, and just really just wanting to go to LSU, and just his spark and everything about him at LSU. Early on this year, people just say he had a slower start, but all that comes with opportunities. And and I know he feels the same way. So, once his workload picked up, then, the talent starts to display. So, I mean, Leonard has always been, a top talent in my eyes. I have, probably millions of hours of, watching Leonard's highlights in high school and everything else. So, and the attributes that he brings, just to, not too many guys can be, close to 230, 240, running a 4.4, still having that quickness of the feet and that power and agility. So he has a combination of everything. So Leonard is quite special. And then, just with him being a hometown guy for me, it's always been good to have somebody to look up to.
Next question will come from Fago Franklin from Pro Players Insiders.
Hey, how you doing today?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm all right. What does it mean to you to see women like Jennifer King and Sarah Thomas breaking barriers in the NFL?
It means a lot to me, man, just because, just mentally for me, my little sister, she has muscular dystrophy, and just to think, there's women being able to do things, either that they were maybe tried to be either talked out of or just not really given that light, just knowing how important they could be or are to the game. They were kind of just always been kind of exempt because that they were female. So now it just goes to show you that they can do, if not, the same job, if not better than a lot of men. So for me, it's a spark to my eyes, because I know, I can still, talk to my little sister when she wants to be involved in football and watching me play. And, she seems excited about what's going on. Now it's not, necessarily shying her away from the sport. Now it's more inviting, and now she sees that she can be something, a positive light to the NFL and or, to the football community. So I'm excited and I'm happy about it.
Next, we'll go to Hassan Khan with Time to Football.
What's up, Clyde? How you doing?
So how you doing?
Doing good. So going back to Le'Veon Bell, everybody in the media, a lot of people like to talk on Twitter, try to stir up the pot. So when Le'Veon Bell came into town, everybody was ready to write you off and saying, oh, he's going to lose his starting job. But you saw it more as an opportunity as, hey, this guy can come in and I can learn a lot of great stuff from him. What are some specifics that you learned from Le'Veon Bell's game? And was he someone that you really grew up watching and loving when you played football?
The things I picked up from Le'Veon Bell, well, I feel like the biggest thing is just film study and the way that he reads defenses. Le'Veon, he sits in meetings and calls certain things out and can remember a play, the second run period that we had, Miami week, where, he saw a look and it was similar to a look that we were looking at, currently on the film. So, Le'Veon has a his memory setup is I feel like it's very advanced. He memorizes things, he sees things, he's smart. One of the hardest working guys that I've been around from just a working standpoint. And honestly, man, Le'Veon, to be truthful, Le'Veon wasn't a guy that I was just always watching. I knew, I heard about him. Michigan State 2-4 hurdling everybody, and I watched his highlights plenty of times, but just his size, me probably knowing that I wasn't going to be around the same size. I tend to at the time that I was growing up, in that time, I was watching guys, old film, Barry Sanders. I was big on Barry growing up, so that was mostly the film that I was watching.
Next, we'll go to Jack Rathborn with The Independent.
Hi, Clyde, mate. Well done on a fantastic rookie season, man.
Appreciate it.
You were on a national championship winning LSU team and then drafted by the Chiefs, who, of course, won the Super Bowl last season and have returned this year. Have you noticed any sort of shared intangibles between Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes?
The main things that I would feel is, comparable, is just the fact that the way they prepare, man. Two guys that prepare, top level. Pat is always, you always see Pat on that iPad or flipping through pages in this book just to figure out, what's the next thing or what's the next thing that he can be, over the top or just prepare for any situation that can possibly show its face. Pat's always preparing for it. And it was the same way with Joe. Joe was exactly the same way, and he was the same way, the all 3 years that I played with him. So it was pretty special to see and feel, that I was going through the same transitions and seeing the same things, from my quarterback that I went 15-0 with, and now, that I was, with Pat with. It was nothing that I wasn't expecting. That Pat was the MVP of the Super Bowl, and they had previously won the Super Bowl. So I wasn't like expecting anything less, but it was just a sight to see that I was fortunate enough to be selected on a team that has the same, kind of the same building blocks that I've always been around.
Next up is Charles Goldman from USA Today.
Hey there, Clyde. How are you doing?
How you doing?
So you and Darrell Williams go way back to LSU. I'm just wondering, what did it feel like, I guess, to see him kind of pick up the mantle a little bit when you were dealing with injury these last couple of weeks and heading into the playoffs?
I would say it was the same way I felt when Darrell got his opportunity to start against Alabama my freshman year at LSU. He completely went off. Was probably the first time that I actually seen a running back get positive yards in a game against Alabama for us within the last couple of years. It just makes me smile. It made me happy. It was the same way watching him tote the pill for us recently. I mean, Darrell is somebody that I've always looked up to since the first day I met him. He was always a guy who not only was in telling me, the right things to do, but was inspiring the fact of, his entire story. So, I feel like we went in the same. Darrell has always been a guy who's just been there for me, and I owe a lot to him just because he's kind of molded me in a guy from the get-go to understand plays and to look at things differently. And that's what he told me, coming into college. So, Darrell, it's like a real legit older brother to me, and he's been guiding me the whole way. So it was, special for me to know that he was going to be in a room with me.
We'll go to Ryan Stern at backsportspage.com.
Hey, Clyde, appreciate your availability for this.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is a team that was in the same spot last year. What questions have you asked some of your teammates to help you prepare for this biggest game of your life this Sunday?
Probably some of the same questions that I was asking before the first game of the season. It's not like I'm preparing any different from when I prepared for the first game. Everything that I'm doing has been exactly the same since I could remember. And the way that I prepare, I feel like it's the best that I possibly could prepare week in and week out. So to ask questions, the only things that I would be asking now was just how different it was, not dealing with COVID. But as far as anything dealing with my preparation or what's going into the game, so far, week in and week out, the things that I've been doing, it has collectively helped us gain W's, which is what matters in this league. And I feel like week in and week out, I've been prepared, and that's what the film reflects. So no real questions on as far as preparedness, but just about the experience so far.
Next is John Distefano from WOWL.
Hey, Clyde, how's it going?
How you doing?
The Bucs showed the importance of ball control last week in keeping a potent offense off the field. What has your preparation been like as a major part of the running game to not only be able to score, but to stay on schedule and control time of possession?
My thing is to execute the plays that's called and really to understand, time and situation in the game. Football is a forever changing game, and each situation will never mimic and be the same, which is the reason why we play the game is so unpredictable. But as far as in the run game, the things that we've talked about this week, you know, when it's time for me and time for the running backs to run the ball, we execute the play that's called. And, you know, from that point on, you know, we do what we need to do, and we move the ball as an offense. So, you know, I can understand, you know, trying to, you know, attempting to keep the ball away from a potent offense, which should be, you know, the way a lot of defenses should work if they're going against an offense that they feel is high powered. So, you know, that's just what it is.
Next is Alexander Spur from Skyboat News.
Clyde, last time you faced off against the Buccaneers in Week 12, I believe it was 11 carries, 37 yards. Probably not the outcome you would have liked at the end of that game. What did you learn from then that you're going to utilize this Sunday?
I learned patience and just understanding blocking schemes, but you know, ultimately with that game and the way that things were going, just being able to have a defense who's so obedient to the run game and with their front seven and so honoring to the run game, to not be ran upon is big for that defense. So you know, it wasn't the outcome that I expected. And you know, trying to run for as many yards as possible is always the goal. You know, when I have the ball in my hands, but it ultimately helped us get the ball over the top and score some touchdowns over the top. So I feel like in that situation, I did the job that was asked of me. So at the end of the day, the result of the game was what we needed and what we wanted.
Next will be Mauricio Gutierrez from Estadio Fantasy.
Hello, Clyde. How are you? Congrats on making it to the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Can you tell us how it's been for you the transition from college to the NFL, and especially to Reed's and Bieniemy's offensive system?
You know, I would say the biggest transition at first was just picking up the calls and just understanding plays before the actual play is called, and just seeing how fast the opposing defenses move before a call, and just understanding what the defense is in before we actually run the ball or run the actual play. You know, but as far as picking up the offense, I mean, you know, with dealing with COVID and everything, I really didn't have anything else to do but learn the playbook and study the playbook. I mean, I was quarantined and doing the things that we were supposed to do as far as requested from the NFL. So the only things that I could do was go home, and then when I was bored, you know, I studied my plays or play with my dogs. So to pick up on the plays wasn't too hard. You know, the only thing was just getting timing down and everything on the field once I got the plays in my head.
Next, we'll go to Sam McDowell with the Kansas City Star.
Hey, what's up, Claude?
What's up?
I wanted to ask you two things, kind of same related. Just some personal questions, and I guess I would just preface it by saying as much as or as little as you're comfortable with. But what did your stepdad mean to you growing up? What kind of role did he play in who you are now?
I mean, he raised me. He you know, he's my dad. He's been there. He was there. He changed my diapers. He did the whole 9 yards. So you know, he played the role of my dad. So I mean, I really can't say anything, you know, other than that. I mean, special. I mean, but as far as having a father figure in my life, that's what he plays. So I mean, I can ramble on about it. You know, him bringing me to practice and him, you know, teaching me, you know, all these things. But you know, we can go on for hours about that. So I mean, he was there since I was 6 months. He changed my diapers. He did the whole 9 yards. So he did what was, you know, not necessarily what was asked of him. He did something that he didn't have to do, but ultimately he raised me to be, you know, who I am today.
Next, we'll go to Peter Clark with Syracuse University.
Hey, Clyde. So I wanted to ask about, I know you weren't on the field, but the fourth down call last week and the aggressive play calling all year. What does that mean to you as a player that your coaching staff has confidence in you guys to convert those?
It goes to show you that not only does the coaching staff have confidence in the plays, but have confidence in the players to execute the plays that's being called, and knowing that, having that confidence. If I know if I call this play, my guys are going to go out there and do exactly what I'm picturing in my head, or what I feel will work. So it's just a good feeling to have, and just understand and know that the coach not only trusts an individual, but he trusts us as a unit and a whole.
Next, we have Raphael Haynes with the 3-point conversion.
Hey, Clyde, Raphael from the 3-point conversion. This is basically media night, so we have to ask you some media night questions. I want to ask you first, what was your mama I made it moment when you first got in the NFL? And I have a follow-up.
I would say honestly, man, when I you want like football related or just
football? You give me both, football related, and give me both.
I would say when I was able to just have my mom just kind of tell me, whatever she needed, or whatever needed to be done. Anything that needed to be done just around the house, or just for my little sister, little brother, any tuition, anything that I can possibly do to just help my mom financially. I feel like that was a big step. That was, pretty much really the only thing I ever really worked for, just to, pay her back for everything that she did. And, having an older brother, older sister, younger brother, younger sister, and just being that middle child, you kind of feel like you just kind of go under the radar, or just kind of just float, and then just kind of, end up out the house and then in college. And so I feel like everything kind of happened so fast, not only for me, but for her. So just having everything kind of slow down, and then, all of a sudden, I was able to help her out in those ways is pretty much, my mama made it, and whatever you need, I can do, and repay her back for, well, attempt to repay her back for everything that she's ever done. So that's the coolest part.
Right. And that's cool. And then what was your welcome to the NFL moment on the field?
Welcome to the NFL moment, fall camp. I was running a real route, and Frank Clark wasn't at practice for probably about the first 2 weeks. So I didn't even know really, just the whole shark attack, the whole ordeal about Frank. And man, he was playing a hoops coverage, and from the DN position, man, he dropped, and I was running a rail route, and in the middle of the rail route, man, Frank came down and laid the hammer, man, laid the shark on me. So, it was that was my welcome to the NFL moment for sure. I don't think I've been hit that hard, non-comparable to anything else that I've played so far. So my hardest hit has been from a teammate, Frank Clark.
Next will be Christopher Holmes from NFL Chile.
Hi, Clyde.
What's up, mate?
Just wanted to know, for you as a player, what makes the Bucs defense so hard to run against?
Oh, well, I mean, they have a legendary front seven. I mean, you have JPP, you have, Sue, you have K-Mint, you have Devin White, who's running lateral. You have Shaq. You have so many guys up front who just, have that penetration, and have that they have that run stopping ability. And when you have so many guys that have, that has a run stopping ability, what else are you going to do? But stop the run when it's a run. So, they have a good ability of playing schemes, playing gaps, filling gaps, and then rallying to the ball. They're topping the league on seeing guys run to the ball, watching the film. I mean, you're seeing guys getting tackled, and then, not even couple seconds later, you still seeing guys flying over the pile who are already in pursuit, who are trying to get to the ball. So very fast defense, sideline to sideline, and very good at stopping the run.
Next, we'll go to Rod Walker with the Times-Picayune.
Hey, Clyde, I just want to ask you, what did growing up in Louisiana, what did it mean? Just how much did you look up to guys like Tyron and Leonard Fournette?
Man, looking up to those guys is pretty much everything you kind of live for growing up in Louisiana. I mean, like I was saying earlier, man, Tyron's locker is right in front of mine, and sometimes he gets so fired up. He'll be in there, he'll be like, man, you're gonna see that Tyron that you grew up watching, and you hear those things, and then you start to think like, man, like this is actually who that is, the guy that you kind of, who made you want to play in Tiger Stadium, who made you, who kind of gave that extra spark each week, to see what he does. You want to go back out there and try to one up him in the game that you had that week. So, having guys like Tyron, and then Leonard, the number one player out in high school, and then I was in high school at the time, an 8th grader. So just watching him run all over guys in Louisiana, I wanted to do the same, and with him playing the same position and going to the school that I feel like ultimately I wanted to go to, it felt at home to watch him just do the things that he was doing. So for me, all this is exciting and surreal to a kid who's only 21 years old. So it's pretty cool to me.
Next is Ron Snyder with KADN.
Hey, Clyde, miss seeing you at LSU, but congratulations on a great rookie year. I just was going to ask you, on the LSU note, one, what does it mean just to have so many LSU players in this game? And two, I asked a couple guys on the other side the same question. What's your sales pitch to convince fans in Louisiana to root for you instead of the other side?
I mean, why not root for the running back who was able to be able to get a national championship, to come back to Baton Rouge and be on a 15-0 team. We have the true 7, I feel like, who kind of kicked it off for, other than Pat P, who kind of kicked it off for the 7 era. So Tyron, and then we go back to just somebody who was being doubted, and just kind of that who LSU should feel like they should cheer for in Darrell Williams, a guy that kind of went under the radar, and I feel like wasn't as appreciated as he should have been. So that's another reason why we should be cheered for on this end. And then just a guy early on, honestly, who was kind of a lower star recruit coming in, who really didn't get as much fan love at first, other than kind of like my high school reps and everything at LSU. So I still feel like I still need some fan love from over the top and back end from LSU on that end. So ultimately, I feel like it all should come back this way.
Next, we'll go to Jeff Nowak from NOLA.com.
Hi, Clyde. How you doing?
Doing good. How about you?
Good. Obviously, the last 2 years, you don't know how to lose football games, it seems like. You've won undefeated at LSU, now you're going to the Super Bowl. How do you keep kind of down to earth? How do you keep from kind of losing track of, how difficult it is to actually win these football games as you go into the Super Bowl, and where is the kind of perspective there?
Honestly, man, I can tell you, my happiness doesn't come from my record. I don't feel like, those are the things that I would be remembered for. I mean, anybody that I talk to, anybody that knows me, knows that I'm a big game to game person, and just thinking about and talking about wins and everything is, I know it's important, and I know that that's the ultimate goal that we try to get, man. But just trying to be better than I was the previous game, no matter what it is, it's kind of is that win and that happiness for me. And once I feel like that I beat the Clyde that played last game, if a win comes with it, then I feel like I did everything that I was supposed to do in order to beat the last Clyde that stepped on the field. So I feel like you only remember for the last time you stepped on the field, and whenever it's my last time, I wanted to be remembered as that, my greatest performance.
We'll go to Sam McDowell from the Kansas City Star.
Hey, Clyde. Sorry, I wanted to ask you a follow-up on that earlier thing as well. Just over the past few years, how has your bond and your relationship with your biological father grown?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, if he's not calling me every day, it's every other day. So it's cool. He comes to games. Everybody comes to games when they're available and when they can. It's like a normal father to son relationship, and the things that that we have in common. With him, I know he's big into cars, and I'm big into cars. So a lot of our conversations kind of take off from that. And then, from whatever else we fall into, asking about days and how they going. And, that's pretty much it. So I have the opportunity to have, two father figures who, not too many people are fortunate enough to say they have two dads.
We'll go to Mick Schaefer with KSHB.
Clyde, perfect segue. Was wondering if you could catch us up on which cars you're working on. I know the pandemic maybe gave you some more time to do that, and you're kind of a homebody anyway. If you got a special one you're working on now, and any big game that you brought in from any hunting you've done.
Man, currently, man, my one of my headlights went out on my Camaro, my '69 Camaro. So I have to go back to the house later on today and mess with that, and then. My Chevelle, man. I'm working on my Chevelle. I have a '70 Chevelle that I'm under the hood on right now. Pretty much tying up all the little things, all the wiring, all the things that kind of makes the car pass inspection. All the signals, all the spark plugs, the whole 9 yards with that. So knocking that out right now. And as far as big game, man, hunting I haven't been able to do this year. It's been pretty upsetting for me. Getting all these videos back home, my buddies, they duck hunting and smacking them, getting some ducks, knocking some ducks down. I can't even enjoy any duck poppers. I haven't knocked down a deer. I haven't did any hunting. So as soon as I get back home, I'm gonna try whatever I can get my hands on hunting wise legally, then I'll be on it.
We'll go to Roderick Curitin from Fully Loaded Podcast.
Hey, Clyde. Roderick from Fully Loaded. When Mahomes texted and said CEH on draft night, what was going through your mind before and after that fact?
Beforehand, I was still kind of in shock. Not even thinking like, oh, you're going to the Chiefs. Just even the fact that I was drafted, I wasn't even in the mindset of being drafted on the first night. And then, once story kind of got around that Pat hit up Veach and texted him back and he wanted me. I mean, that's what made me feel like, okay, this is the organization that I'm gonna do whatever in my power, whatever I need to do to make it happen. Because obviously I was in the top, but just knowing Pat and knowing just how long Pat's going to be around, him wanting to have me around for this, probably for me was the biggest plus, and the biggest reason to just feel like I was at home. So afterwards, it was a great feeling.
Next, we'll go to Angel Wells from NABJ Sports.
Hey, Clyde. Being a rookie and appearing in the Super Bowl in your first NFL season, what do you do to calm your nerves while you compete in football's biggest stage?
Man, I'm I'm not gonna say necessarily I'm a nervous person, but I'm kind of a nervous person, so I tend to have the same routine, just to knock my nerves down. My go-to song that kind of calms my nerves is it's slow, but it's Too Much by Drake. And usually I listen to that before I go out on the field, and I feel like it calms me down. It calms my heart rate, lowers my heart rate, and kind of slows me down because it's a slower song. And I'm not a real big hype person before the game, so just being able to get my nerves down helps me not only help me for this game, but it helps me for all of them.
Next will be Dylan Jesperin from TV Sports.
Hey, Clyde, congratulations.
Sir, appreciate it.
You're one of multiple LSU players on the field. I wanted to know what it meant to you, what LSU brought to you that you think helped you and so many guys get to this stage, and what lessons from your guys' run last year are you going to bring to this game this Sunday?
The biggest things, I feel like LSU helped me with just to this point, preparation and the way I compete. Every day I went to, if not workouts, practice, study hall, whichever it was, I was going to compete. And that's what it was at LSU. And that's been my mentality ever since: compete. And, that's the best part about it. That's what helped me. That's what helped me get to this point. I by being competitive, and it's helping me, stay at this level. So that's the best part. And, the second part of your question, I'm sorry, I forgot it.
Next, we'll go to Jenna Lane with ESPN.
Hey, Clyde, from your vantage point, the fact that you're a rookie and you didn't get to be part of this last year when your teammates were there, how much do you find yourself kind of listening to their stories about what their experience was like, their full Super Bowl experience, compared to what you get this year? I didn't know if at any point you kind of listen to that and you're like, man, I really wish we could be there for the full week and actually get a real Super Bowl week out of this.
It's been talk, just with the players from last year, just like, oh man, we would have been leaving this day or this day, but haven't really sat and talked to any guys or just overheard any guys just, having a conversation about last year. Like, you hear spurts and, we did this last year, and then that's pretty much that, or we did that last year, or, this week we would have been down there and we would have been doing media in person. Like, other than that, just knowing that media would have been in person and it would have been 100,000 people in front of me to do media, it's been just kind of quiet.
Next, we'll go to Danilo Lacal from Torcedero, Brazil.
Clyde, how you doing? Danilo Lacal from Brazil.
How you doing?
Fine. You came to the Super Bowl as a rookie and you can make history right now. But how was the preparation for the Super Bowl since you faced the best defense of the season against rushing game?
Preparation is the same, like it always been throughout the whole year. I prepare the same. I'm not big on breaking the way I prepare or breaking, cycle for me. What's been working has worked for me so far. So each week, no matter if I was, rushing for 100 yards or rushing for 20, the way prepared each week and depending on defenses and defensive fronts, pretty much was one and the same. So, that's it.
We'll go to Jeff Nowak from NOAA.com.
Hey, Dan. This is kind of off topic, but obviously Joe Burrow has that really nasty injury early in the season. You had a rough injury yourself in Week 15 against the Saints. It wasn't quite as significant. Obviously, you're playing now. Have you talked to Joe at all? What was it like seeing him go down, a guy as competitive as he is, and obviously a former teammate of yours?
Yeah, I probably talk to Joe, if not once every week, probably once every 2 weeks. So we stay in contact, and I mean, it's one of my best friends. So, I mean, to have a guy, to see him go down the way he did, I mean, it hurt me, and I mean, it's as simple as that. So, being able to find out, immediately, I'm texting his brothers and texting whoever I can, to get in contact about his injury afterwards. So, but once I was able to get in contact with him, I mean, it's been, pretty much same schedule. Me talking to him the whole year, like I always been.
Next, we'll go to Paul Boron.
Hey, Clyde. Paul Boron from Cox Sports Television in Louisiana. I know you've been asked about LSU guys in this Super Bowl, but it's been 20 straight years that LSU guys there's been at least one LSU player in the Super Bowl. Can you talk about just the sustained success in the NFL by LSU players?
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show you, the things that we are learning, and the things that you are that's being instilled into LSU players are kind of I want to say kind of clinching to teams that are going to the Super Bowl, and that's I feel like that's the X factor. A lot of guys from LSU tend to be appealing to organizations who are top tier, and that's the best part about LSU. You understand it, you learn, and then once you come to this level, it all just it shows itself and it's displayed. So LSU is a great school for preparation.
We have time for just a couple more questions. Next, we'll go to Ron Higgins.
Yeah, Clyde. Ron Higgins, Tiger Rag Magazine in Baton Rouge. When Darrell Williams left LSU, and I know you were still there, was there any doubt in your mind that even as a free agent, he was going to make it? And why did you think that? And mentally, and also, I mean, physically and also mentally, as a guy who, no matter the situation, he was going to be ready to play.
Yeah. I mean, didn't doubt it, not one bit. That was something. I mean, as soon as I knew Darrell was on the team, I remember talking to my running back coach, Tommy Roberts, and going, just saying, like, that's a wrap. Like, Darrell's going to play, forever in the league. Me knowing the way he prepares, me knowing who Darrell is as a person, me knowing just the everything about him at that point. And at that point, I had never been in the league, but just knowing just what he was as a player, I knew he was valuable, and I knew it would be hard for him to not be playing football. So, it was never a doubt in my mind that he was going to come to the league and not really miss a step. So, it was unfortunate, that he didn't get everything that he deserved prior to be drafted. So, that sucks. But I know, eventually, everything comes great to the ones who wait. So, and everything that he's been doing has been perfect. So, I can't wait to see what his future holds.
And the last question here will go to Brian Diardo.
Hey, Clyde, congratulations on making it to the Super Bowl. I know you probably don't care about stats, but only one rookie's ever rushed for 100 yards in the Super Bowl, and that was 20 years ago. So maybe something to keep an eye on. But two-part question, and that was actually in Super Bowl, or in Tampa, but I'll get to the question. So two-parter, who was your favorite running back growing up when you were a kid? Because I know that running back position is kind of an art. Everybody's got their own style. And the second part, what have you learned from Le'Veon Bell in your time working with him?
Well, growing up, I would say it was a mixture, because I say I did more watching film than watching actual games. So I would say it's a mixture between Barry Sanders, Darren Sproles, and LaDainian Tomlinson. Those guys, by far, I probably couldn't place them, top three. They all would probably be, 1A, 1A1, and 1A1A. So for me, those are my top 3 guys that I watched, and I tried to do anything in my power to mimic and or do the same things that they were doing on the field. And to answer the second part of your question, L. Bell, he came in and just was somebody that I kind of pulled whatever I can get from him, and whatever questions that I had, or if something just popped up in my mind that I just needed an answer for, or just nobody really could give me the answer in the time that I was really willing to ask. If L. Bell was right there, I was asking him, and he's always been good of just shooting the answer straight back, and if he didn't know, we'll figure it out, and then we'll ask, and if not, he'll give me a full rundown on why it's one way or another. So I've just been a big sponge, pulling in everything that I possibly can from him.
All right, that's all the time we've got. So that'll conclude today's media availability session with Kansas City Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Clyde, we appreciate the time.
Yes, sir. Peace.